Alright, hello and welcome to our first coding lesson. Today we're going to be going over navigation, instances, and resources of Studio. I'd like to apologize in advance if this video becomes too long. I know we're talking about a very simple topic here, but sometimes I like to over-explain stuff like this. So let's just get into it then. To start with navigation, I'd like to first just talk about Studio and all of its functions, as well as all of its services that it provides you, all of its base services. So that'll be the first thing I talk about, the services in the Explorer tab. Your Explorer tab should be open by default, but if it's not, then go to the View tab on the top and click on Explorer here. Alright, so I'm going to explain all of the services listed here. I'll explain what they do and how to use them. Starting off with Workspace, a very basic one. This usually just holds objects. So it can hold parts, it can hold values, it can really hold anything. You can put scripts in there as well, but it's not common practice to do so. Next we have players, and this service here is just it holds the players within the game. So if I press the play button and open the tab, you can see my player Hitamaru. Alright. Next we have lighting. And this is just lighting of the game. It's very simple. Atmosphere, sky, blue. I'll explain most of these in another video. So lighting is just lighting of the game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Next we have material service, and this is just the materials for your parts. So if you ever wanted to change the material of, like, change the texture of a part, then you'd do so within this service. There's one specific thing that you need to know about this service, and that is if you scroll all the way down, you can see a property called Use 2022 Materials. This will be defaulted to no. As you can see, it's not checked, so if I inserted a part into the workspace, like so, and I change its material to, say, grass. Oh shit, I mean, sorry, it should be defaulted as yes, sorry. So, if you change the part material to, like, say, grass, you can see that it's not the usual grass material that you're probably used to. That's because in 2020, or I think it's 2023, I don't know, but Roblox changed its default materials, their textures, so it looks a lot different than you're probably used to. And so if you want the old textures back, all you have to do is just uncheck the box, and there you go. So yeah, if you want to use the new materials, just leave it checked. Otherwise, uncheck the box. Alright. Next we have replicated first. You will not use this service that often, but to explain what it is, basically everything under this service is prioritized by the client to be replicated first. So everything under that folder will load first. Everything under that folder will load first before anything else by the client. Again, you're probably not going to use it much. The only really scenarios you'll use it in is when you're making, say, a loading screen or anything that you want to preload, like preloading assets for your game. Those are the really only cases that you'll use it for. Only local scripts go into replicated first. You don't want to use basic server scripts for that. Okay. Next we have replicated storage. Replicated storage, it's in its name. It's a storage for your assets and other things. It can hold animations, it can hold meshes, models, like anything that you want to store for later use. It can be accessed by both the client and the server. So if you wanted to get something and replicate it to the client, you can. If you want to get something and replicate it to the server, you can also do that. Next, we have server script service, and this is where all, if not most, of your server scripts will go. It's in its name. It's very self-explanatory. Next, we have server storage, and this is basically the same as replicated storage. It holds your assets, animations, whatever you need for later use. It holds all of that. The only difference is that server storage is only accessible by the server, so you cannot access it from the client. Best way to show this is if I insert a folder into here and a folder into here. I press play. You can see on the client, if I open this folder, if I open replicated storage, you can see my folder is in there. But if I go and you can see that's not in my server storage either here. But if I go to test on the top and I click current client, I go to the server and you can see that if I open this tab, my folder is in there, and it's also in here for my replicated storage as well. So yeah, server storage is only accessible by the server. Okay, cool. Next we have starter GUI. This is where all your GUI is going to go. I'm going to make an entirely separate video explaining what GUI is and all of its elements in a future video. I'm going to do all that. But right now, all you need to know is that it just holds your GUI. Next we have starter pack. Starter pack is going to hold tools. It's going to hold your tools, and it'll hold them for the tools that you want your character to start with specifically. So if I inserted a tool into here and I press play, you can see in my art bar, there's my tool. So you really only specifically put it in starter pack if you want your character to start, or if you want the player to start with those tools. If you don't want them to start with the tools, you can put it in replicated storage or server storage, and then call it to the starter pack by putting it in the player's backpack. And I'll demonstrate that in the future. Alright, this is sort of a big one. Starter player. So starter player, you won't really put anything under this folder specifically. The only really scenarios that you will is when you're creating a custom character. If you don't want to use Roblox's default rig, you can create your own. Like if you wanted to make everyone, like animals or whatever, you put their starter character in the starter player folder. Next we have starter character scripts under starter player. Everything under this folder will be replicated to the character, to all characters. So if I put in a value, a bool value, or also a script, and I press play, I go under workspace, go to my character, Going Kitamaro, and scroll down, you can see that the value and the local script are both inside of my character. It's useful for if you want your character to start with any specific thing, really. Right. Next we have starter player scripts. It's basically the same thing as starter character scripts, except instead of going into your character, it goes under your player. So if I do the same exact thing here, then you don't have to do both. You can do one or the other. I'm just doing this as an example. I press play, and I go into players, like player, and I go under player scripts. You can see that both the value and local script are under my player. Okay. Next we have teams. Very self-explanatory. It just holds if you want teams in your game, this is where you put teams in. So yeah, very self-explanatory. Real quick, I'll go over one property, auto assignable. This is just for if you want your when a player joins the game, they might be automatically assigned a team. So if you don't want them to be automatically assigned a team and you want to set their teams instead, you just uncheck this property. Next we have sound service. This holds sounds. It can hold sounds. It also properties you can see if you want to change how sounds sound, then you need so here. You won't really, I personally don't really use this service at all. I put all my sounds in replicated storage, in server storage, so it's up to you where you want to put your sounds, really. And then lastly we have text chat service, which is just how players chat. Here you can, if you want to, you can customize chat. If you want to disable bubble chat, if you want to disable the chat box in the top left when you press play when you're in the game, you can disable that. You can change the font color, you can change, sorry I said font color, you can change the text color, you can change the text font, you can change anything about the text. You do all that in here. Okay, so I explained all the main services that you'll see and use while coding. There's obviously a plethora of services that I have not explained yet. I'll explain all of those, or not all of those, but I'll explain the main ones that you'll probably use across separate videos. So yeah. Okay, to continue with navigation, we're going to talk about a few of these tabs at the top of your screen. Okay, so first I want to talk about game settings. Here you're just going to change settings of the game. Very self-explanatory. Specifically, if you go to security, you're going to want to have HTTP requests checked. Same with enabling studio access to API services and third-party teleports, probably. What all this does is just this second one allows you to access data stores if you want to use data in your game. Third-party teleports allows you to teleport to other places inside of your game. And HTTP requests allows you to use the HTTP service, which again I'll talk about more in another video. You can look into all these on your own if you like, on your own time, but I will eventually get to them. Next we have avatar. I want to talk about. It's going to be defaulted to R15. If you want to check it, if you want to change the character's rig type to R6, you can do that. You can do so here. Player choice just means that you let the players decide whether they want to use R15 or R6. Okay. This is just the gravity of the game. If you want your character to jump really high, then you set this high. Same vice versa. Jump power and jump height, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be defaulted to jump height. And it's pretty important that you change it to jump power if it is on jump height, because if you try to change the jump power through code, it's not going to work if it's not checked here in the game settings. So make sure you have that done. You can also change the default walk speed here. I think that's everything for this. Okay. I'm only really going over the things that you need to know for coding. I'll explain these three separately later. Okay, the view tab is a very big ally for you when coding. So all of these are very different. They perform different tasks that help you when coding or doing really anything in Studio. Like I said, you have the Explorer and Property tab here. They are automatically open by default. I want to talk about very specific ones over here though. The first one I'll talk about is Asset Manager and its places. So if you double click places, you can create a new place like so, and if I double click this, then it will open. Right click it to get its ID. It's useful for if you want to create multiple places within one game, you know. Next we have Toolbox. Toolbox will probably be your best friend. You'll get a lot of models, audios, you can really get anything from here. Videos, even your fonts for your text. Meshes. You're probably going to use it a lot for audio. If you click these different tabs, you have inventory, so if you have models, plugins, audio, whatever. We have recent models that you've used, audios, images, and then this is just honestly, I'm not sure. I think this is all the models that you've made. Same with plugins, audios, images, whatnot. Okay. Next we have output. Output's also going to be your best friend. This will just here you can see all the bugs. You can all the bugs will show here. If you want to print anything like debugging, it'll show here. You can clear the output. You can filter it to show specific things, errors, warnings, information system log from the client or the server. You know, all of this. Also, if you, I just cleared it, but if you click one of the red errors, it will take you directly to the script of the error, to the specific line that it is, which is very useful. Okay. I skipped over Object Browser. Object Browser shows you all the objects you can use in Studio. So if I go to a very specific one, like in value, and I scroll down here, you can see all the functions, events, and properties of in value. And if you click on one of them, and it'll give you a quick summary of what that specific function does. So returns first child, blah blah blah. These are all properties, and these are events. I will explain events and functions in a different video. But yeah, this is very useful if you just want to know really quick what you can do with each object. Command bar, you'll use this. This is mainly used for like quick code if you want to type something really quick. So like, when I said something like print 1 divided by 2, you can see in the output it'll print 0.05. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with this. Say like if I wanted to change the material of this part to neon, I could do so by just doing workspace dot art dot material equals neon, and you can see that it changed. Cool. Next we have find all, replace all. This is very useful for finding code across all scripts. So if I inserted 2 scripts here and I searched for the word hello, you can see that it prints out, or it shows all the instances where the hello is written down across all the scripts. You can also make it case sensitive. You can make it match the whole world word. So if I made it case sensitive, you can see there'll be no results. If I capitalize the H, there it is. That's the whole world. Pretty much the same thing. Oh god. Okay. Next we have team create. This will by default be on. I personally like to turn it off because I like to work offline sometimes, and if you're offline, you can't open or you can't work in a team create enabled place. So if you like to turn it off, you just go down to these 3 dots at the bottom, and it should say disable team create as one of the options. If you do keep team create enabled, you won't have to save, so that's at least a benefit of keeping it on. You won't have to save your progress. You can just press the X button and it will save automatically. Okay. Okay, really quick, I'll explain this. So, under clients and servers, this is basically just local testing with multiple. If you want to do a local test with multiple players, you can do so by yourself here. So, if I press to start, let me just demonstrate it. If I press start, I'll have access to 2 different characters or 2 different players, and I can just test out things with them. So if we just give it a second, we can see that I have 2 players here. And I can control both of them. A third tab will open the server. So these are both client view, and then you have server view here. And press cleanup to close all tabs. Okay. Device. If you want to see what the game would look like on different devices, you can do so here. You'll probably mainly use this for when looking at your GUI, making sure that your GUI is the same, looks the same across all screens. That's a very important thing to do. You have a laptop, you have this computer view, pretty much. You have Xbox, PS4, iPhones, whatnot. And then these are just all your plugins down this tab. I'll tell you guys the ones that I use for coding. It's mainly just auto scale. This is very useful for GUI. If you ever use GUI and it's defaulted to offset sizing, if you just open this up and you need conversion, you can just click scale and it'll automatically change the GUI's sizing to scale instead of offset. It's very useful. I'll talk more about it in the GUI video, but I highly recommend downloading it in advance. Okay, that's it. Okay, and then file. Save the file. If you want to save to a file, save to Roblox. Save to Roblox. If you open studio settings and scroll down, you can change a lot of things with your studio. For coding, if you scroll, where is it? Script editor, sorry. Go down to script editor and you scroll down, you can change a lot of, you can customize how your scripts look. So if you want to change the colors for specific words, so like built-in functions, or if you want to change the color of numbers or bold values, so here you can change pretty much everything. Same thing here, if you want to change how Roblox default does things for you, you can just disable it in this tab. Okay, I think we're finally done with navigation, so let's move on to instances. Okay, so let's open a script. Okay, so basically an instance is just an object created. So you do so by typing instance.new. This creates a new instance, parentheses, and then quotation marks. And if you scroll down here, you can see a bunch of the objects that you can create. Today we're just going to do a part. So part, and within these parentheses are called parameters. So the first parameter of instance.new is the object that you're creating. The second and optional parameter is the parent of the object that you're creating. So if I wanted to parent the part to workspace, I could do so in the second parameter. This isn't recommended, honestly. I'm just telling you to know that it's an option. I've built the habit of doing so forever ago, but you really don't want to parent objects or instances to its parent until you set all the properties. So, sorry, I forgot. Local instance equals instance.new. So, this is just a variable, and variables are just assigned assignments. So, the variable instance is assigned to this instance that we're creating. So here, if I do instance dot, let's go down. These are all the properties and events and functions I can call using instance. Today I'm only going to talk about the properties of part. So if you go down here, I'll show you guys through this properties tab again. If you don't have it open already, go to the view tab and click on properties in the top left. Okay, so I'm going to explain all the properties of part to start us off here. Starting with brick color. Brick color is just a specific set of colors that Roblox has provided to you. Let me change its property. Its material back to normal. Alright, so yeah, it's just preset colors that Roblox has provided to you. If you don't want to use brick color or a specific color, you can use your own code of colors, and this is called an RGB color code. So if you click on this, you can see that you can customize it a lot better here. You can change shade, color. If you have a preset code that you want to put in, you can just type it in here. 255, 255, 255 is white with 000 being black. And it's RGB, so if you want it to be full red, you can do 25500. Same thing with green and blue. Cast shadow is just if you want the part to have a shadow. So you can see here, there's a shadow to our part. If I uncheck that, the shadow's gone. Usually you keep it on, but you can turn it off for performance matters. Next, we have the material. Change materials in here. Very self-explanatory. Let me also show you guys how it looks in code. I should be doing that. Alright, so really quick with brick color. If you do instance dot brick color equals, for this you type brick color dot new, and in parentheses it shows you all the preset colors you can use. And then for cast shadow, that is a bool value. That is a boolean, sorry. So a boolean is basically just a true or false value. So you can set it to true, or you can set it to false. And then color, for instance, I'm going to change the name of this because that's annoying. It's part, actually. Okay, so part of color. For this, you use color 3 for 3 values, and then you want to type from RGB. You also have HSV, which is just hue, saturation, and value. It's a different form of RGB. I'm pretty sure this just ranges from 0 to 1, so I'm not sure. And then you also have from hex, which I don't use at all, so I can't tell you what it is. So I use RGB, and again, you can set the colors here. You can also, if you click this color wheel, it opens it, and if you press OK, it'll give you the color code. Alright, next we have material. So there's two different ways you can type this one. You can do parentheses, sorry, not parentheses, you can do quotation marks, neon, or you can use enums. You type enum dot material dot neon. Okay, I'd explain what enums are, but I'm not really sure how to. Its full term is enumeration, and I don't know. It just gives you a bunch of different properties you can change. Different things you can change about a property. So yeah, material dot neon. You only use enum in specific cases, so don't worry about knowing when to use it. You'll know later on as you go on. Okay. The reflectance is just how the sky reflects, or how the lighting reflects on your part. So if I made it ranging from 0 to 1, if I made it 1, you can see that it turns sort of blue if I put it the sky. If I turned it to nighttime using this plugin, you can see that it's black. So yeah, it's gonna be a number, again, ranging from 0 to 1. Let's put it at 0. Next we have transparency. This is just how transparent your part is. Also ranges from 0 to 1. 0 being fully, you can see it, and then 1 being transparent, obviously. You can use decimals if you want to. Next we have locked. Locked is just for studio cases, as far as I know. So if you have this property checked and you try to click on the part, you can see that it's not working. But if I unlock it, click on it, I'm able to. That's the same thing that happens with base plate. Base plate is default locked, so if you unlock it, you'll be able to click on your base plate. Okay. And that is a Boolean value. Alright, next we have the name of the part. Very self-explanatory. Use quotation marks to set this string value. Name it part. Then we have the parent of the part. This goes under an object or service, so I'm going to parent it to workspace. Next we have size. This is something called vector 3, and as you can see here as a description, represents a 3D value with direction and magnitude. It's basically just, as it says, use 3 different values, x, y, z, to determine the space of where the part is going to be located. So as it is right now, just using vector 3 with nothing else, this is going to be based off of the center of our place. So if I said something like 0, 10, 0. Wait to anchor it really quick. Show you guys. So if I anchored it and I pressed run. Oh wait. I also forgot to explain this. You have different, 3 different types of play here. Regular play is just gonna spawn you in the center of the universe or wherever your spawn point is, your spawn location. Play here is going to be specifically where you are in studio. So if I press to play here, I'll spawn, my character will spawn right here in our place. And then run is just not spawning your character, it's just running the game as it is. Alright, it's not loading because I need to set it up correctly. I'm just showing the properties right now. But normally if you do press play and do all that, it'll spawn 10 studs above the center of the universe. Okay. And then I just explained anchored. Or did I? Anchored is just if the part is is sturdy or not. If it's not anchored and it's in the sky, and I press play, this just fall to the ground. If it's anchored, it'll stay in the sky. Going back down the list. C-frame, I'll explain it in an entirely different video. Can collide. That property is just if your character can phase through the part or not. If it's checked, you do not phase through the part, but if it is unchecked, you phase through it. Can touch, I don't really use that much, but I'm almost certain that it's for the touched event, which we'll talk about again in a different video. Anchored, I just talked about. Shape. Oh, sorry. Can collide is also using bold value. Okay, so shape. Again, there's 2 different ways you can do this. It's pretty much the same as material. You can do it by using the string, or you can do it by using enums. The enum for this is called part type, and then it shows you all the different shapes you can use. Okay. So those are all the properties that you need to know right now for parts. Obviously, different objects have different properties. I know I'm going to talk about values, I think, in the next video, if not the next 2 videos. So you can look through the objects on your own. You know, if you go to the object browser, these blue indicators show properties, so you can see like there's a plethora of different properties that you can check out on your own time. You know, get yourself familiar with certain objects. Okay. Is there anything I'm missing? I don't think so. Okay, that wraps it up for instances in navigation. The last thing I want to talk about is just really quick resources. And for this section, it's going to be pretty short. I just want to tell you where you can get help, where you can continue learning how to code or like learn from different sources and whatnot. So first thing I want to say is the API, Roblox's API. So you can see here if you go to the search bar, you can really search up anything or anything that you want to know. If you want to know more about, say, instances, you put it in the search bar, it'll show you everything that relates to an instance. Pick the first one. It's basically what I was talking about earlier. If you want to know about color 3 more, you know, the RGB colors. You want to know more about HSV, all that. Everything is in the API. So if you ever don't know what something does, just search it up in the API. The next resource you have, and my favorite resource, is the dev forum. Box gone. Here is where developers, communicate. There's a lot of different categories. You have updates here, which is just updates that Roblox makes. Development discussion, it's just developers talking about various different topics. So if you click on it, you can see how much Robux did you make? How much Robux did you make? You can see questions about setting assets. What will studio be like in 2050, sorry. So it's a lot of questions about the state of Roblox and hypotheticals, or how to do this, how to do that. It's not so much as this topic, at least, it's not so much as coding. So if you just want to talk to different developers here, you can. If you have questions about how to market your game, or how to advertise your game, how to whatever, you can do so here. Alright, so next we have help and feedback. So this topic is the one that you want to use if you have trouble with your code. You have more different topics. Here you have scripting, building, art design, game design. All this, have feedback on stuff that you made. So if you want feedback, say if you coded some system or magic ability, and you want feedback from different developers, you just submit a post under here and people will critique you. But then you have scripting support here, and it's just if you ever have an issue with your code, you can submit a post here and people will respond with solutions. So if you clicked on trouble making a cooldown, you see people applying with solutions. Let me find one with a solution here. Here it's a low sound, mark it as a solution. Blah blah blah, you get it. Alright, next we have bugs. So this is more if you ever find a bug with Roblox function, like a bug with Roblox's platform, like with Studio, then you'd submit it here. This is not for if you have a bug with your code. It's just if you have a bug with an actual function of Roblox that's not working correctly. So for example, if this person says that brickcolor.random isn't working correctly, then there's an error with it. So you probably won't use this ever unless you're very intensive and you can find bug with Roblox's API system, whatever. The rest of it, you can look for it. You can look through on your own. I don't really use that much. I really only use development discussion and help feedback myself. I can't remember if there's a requirement to post on the dev forum if you need to be on here for a certain amount of days. But yeah. Okay. So it's a dev forum. let me. So if you wanted to search, like, you could also search the search bar your issue, or say like I had a bug with, or not a bug, but like how to change parents, the characters, parent, Roblox. You can see a bunch of different solutions and posts with like so many different issues with different solutions. So you should never really be stuck on something with that firm at your service. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is well, not the next thing I want to talk about, but the next resource is scripting helpers. Probably not going to use this that much. This is just a secondary resource. It's very similar to the Deform. It's pretty much the same as the Deform actually, except it's mainly just issues with, like if you have issues with the code, then you post it here. That's really what the site is used for, as you can see. Okay. I think that's it for websites. Next we have the toolbox. Well, like I said earlier, the toolbox is probably going to be your best friend. Another thing you need the toolbox for is looking through code. So, say I wanted to know how to make a zombie AI. I could open, say this, and open its model and go to its code. Has a bunch of code here showing how the zombie works. So I recommend only using this for study purposes. If you want to know how other people do it with their code, you can do so with the toolbox. I don't endorse stealing code from the toolbox. You don't learn that way. So again, I only recommend this for study purposes. So the last resource that I want to talk about is your friends. So if you have any friends that code, if you know me, you can come to me for help with your issues. I know a lot of people in our community know how to code, so go to them. It's much quicker, and you're not bothering us, or at least you're not bothering me. So if you ever have an issue, just let me know, and I'll try my best to help you fix it. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Next week, not next week, but next video, we'll talk about 3 different things. So I'll see you then. Bye.